everyone, welcome to another video. Before I get into the shoutouts today, I want to take a minute just to explain where I've been and why there haven't been so many videos posted at the moment. So for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I posted a message a while ago just before Christmas explaining that there might not be any videos for a while. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what happened, but it's been quite a difficult and sad time in the sort of GCSE media revision household. So if I'm not my normal sort of bubbly self on the videos, then just bear that in mind. I don't know what's going to happen with the videos for the sort of future. The things that have happened have sort of put quite a lot into perspective. For those of you who are new to the channel, basically the voice that you hear, it's literally just me. I am a teacher by day, I'm a head of department, so I run the media department at our school. I teach both media and English, sort of GCSE all the way through Key Stage 3 as well. And then making the videos is sort of extra and on top of that, just because there really isn't all that much for you guys out there. And my goal is to still continue making these videos, to still keep going with these videos and to give you guys all of the information that you need before your exams. That is still my goal, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to keep posting them sort of weekly. What's happened has sort of made me realise that I have to sort of listen to everybody who's screaming at me on Twitter and saying, you know, take a break. And I do have to sort of take a break and look after myself a bit. So if there aren't videos weekly, that's why. I am still going to try and post videos. I'm going to do my best to get videos up for you guys, but that's where I've been. That's what's happening. And I just want to say a big thank you to those of you who've been checking in and sort of letting me have this space so that I can hopefully come back and give you guys what you need to help you pass your exams. So moving on, let's do our shout outs for today. They're obviously quite a lot because I've not been here for a while. So big shout outs to Oro, to Ben, Sam, Keenan, sorry if I've not said your name right, Keenan, Orbix, Archie, Phoebe, Games Rules, Libby and Poppy, Kieran and Charlie. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're new to the channel and you want a shout out, then all you have to do is to subscribe and I'll explain more about that at the end of the video. So you guys will remember that I've already done a video annotating the Spectre website, but for those of you who are in year 10, that website doesn't actually exist anymore, and instead of the Spectre website we have the 007 website. Now the 007 website has been mentioned by the exam board as something that you guys can mention and refer to. It doesn't just have to be Spectre and Spectre's website. You can now look at the franchise as a whole, which is obviously what they want, because the sort of section that film marketing comes up in is that second section on paper 2 where it could be industry or audience. So looking at the franchise as a whole is obviously better. For those of you who are in year 11, by all means continue to refer to the Spectre website. Alternatively, take the notes that we get from this website and use this as well. It won't matter, you won't be marked down either way for referring to Spectre or to the 007 website as a whole. So we're just going to go through and do some quick annotations of this and also break down what each of those pages does for the website, because it's all well and good looking at the website homepage, but we need to remember that, you know, this is just one part of the 007 website. I'm not going to go in and annotate each of those pages individually because that's something that you guys can do as part of your revision, but I am going to explain a little bit about what each of those pages does for the franchise. So obviously along the top we have our tabs. These are part of the web browser. They open different web pages. This is not specific to the 007 website, but the URL is. Now this URL contains breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs are the things that you see after the .com. So if we were to go to No Time to Die, then a different set of details would appear after that .com, and it basically tracks where you are. So the 007 page is the home page, and then Spectre, if it existed still, would be part of that as a whole. The icons at the top of the page conduct a variety of different functions. Again, they are specific to the browser, not to the home page itself. But we do have the logo, which is symbolic of the franchise. It's part of the masthead of the website, and the strapline underneath implies a level of exclusivity for the audience. So we're not just looking at details about 007, we are literally immersing ourselves into James Bond's world, making the audience feel like they are part of that society. And we know from having looked at Bond so far that one of the big draws for James Bond is the fact that he is this aspirational character and people look up to him because they want to be like him. Now, the search icon is recognisable, but it also allows the audience to personalise their experience, because you could click on that and you can look for specific details. And one of the reasons that that's key to this website, as you'll see in a little bit, is because this website is basically a great big database. And I'll come on to that in a little bit more detail in just a second. Now, the news on the website continuously loads. So what that means is that as you get further towards the bottom of the page, then it just loads a new set of news stories. And it's, as far as I can tell, it's infinite. I've never actually got to the end of it. If one of you guys wants to head to the end and let me know how many times you scroll to get there, by all means, go ahead. Basically, the news is described as coming, as you can see from the sort of second strapline, the news is described as coming from the 007 archives. An archive indicates that this is something that's useful for information as well as for entertainment, and it also implies that all of that news is stored somewhere, which is why this website to me feels a lot like a great big database that you can search for specific details for. Now, because the website sort of continuously loads and is sort of infinitely loading, that legal information has got to go somewhere. This is something that we see on pretty much every single one of the websites that we have looked at so far. Any website that you go on, I can guarantee that that information will be there somewhere. And because, as we said, the website is continually loading, this is then a fixed point. So as you scroll down through this website, that legal information stays in place. The house style of the website is very minimal. We've got a mixture of sans and serif fonts. We've got black and white, creating a very formal and sophisticated tone, which obviously links to the character of Bond because he's very formal and sophisticated himself. News stories are included underneath the scroll line. They form the rest of the website. They're displayed very much like a news website. So if you went to BBC News and compared their layout to 007, it's virtually identical. We've got thumbnails followed by a headline. We've got the date and time stamp on there as well, so we can see exactly when this was uploaded. Very, very similar to a news website. Now, the below the scroll section appears just underneath those main photos, and underneath that we have a widget on the left-hand side for the Bond Twitter page. This widget is sort of like something that has been stuck onto the website. You can get them on your phone, so if you've got I don't know about any other brand, but I've got an iPhone, so if you sort of open up your phone and then sort of scroll to the left hand side of your phone, you have sort of like your calendar, the recent apps that you've used, all that sort of stuff. But if you scroll down to the bottom of that, you can edit it and you can add in different widgets. And that's what we've got here. A widget that's been added to the left-hand side of the page, which is their Twitter. This suggests that perhaps Twitter includes the main audience for James Bond, but another good part of Twitter, or a good element to Twitter, is this idea that it can be updated in real time. So by having that on the page, every time somebody posts something new to the James Bond page, we will see it appearing on the website at the same time as it appears on Twitter. Now, the home screen itself is just a sliding gallery. It provides visual representations for different parts of the website. Depending on what time you log on to the website will depend on what part of that website or what part of that gallery appears. This might be where the cookies for the website sort of take root in the computer, because what I've noticed with my class is that when we looked at the 007 website initially, it looked very much like it did here, with Bond in the Jeep as the main image. But when I got them to go on it again, it had flicked to a different part of the gallery. So it might well be that those cookies that you agree to when you go on the website are storing how many times you have been on the website, so it knows what part of the gallery to slide to. And finally, we've got convergent media shown up at the top through the social media icons. These broaden the audience because each of the social medias has a different audience who are attracted to it and who primarily use it. So the audience is very, very broad the more social medias you have. And then it also allows that interactivity between the website and the audience as well. So breaking down the website then, in terms of our language, we've got a very minimal website, lots and lots of posed shots, which are often still images from the different films. So we've got this visual engagement and representation of the stories through that. We've also got this idea that the website is a hub for the Bond franchise as a whole. This is the main area, and then the audience can take different routes to go and have a look at either modern Bond or contemporary Bond films and information. So the website, as we've said, is basically like a large database for the franchise, but what is quite interesting is that there are no links to other industry websites such as IMDb. So IMDb is the International Movie Database, which you can basically look up all of the information for different films on there. It's a really, really useful resource for when you're doing things like sitcom, crime drama. If you're doing things like the film marketing, it is absolutely invaluable. There's no link to that on there. There's no link to anything like Rotten Tomatoes for film reviews or anything like that. So quite interesting that it's keeping itself very, very insular. However, there are social media links to widen the audience. They provide convergent media. There's also an online store on there as well, which we'll come to in a minute, which increases the revenue. Now, our audience are slightly older than the primary demographic for Spectre that we've had a look at already, but only because it takes a certain age of person, I think, to want to look up information about the different films through their website. I know that might be generalising a little bit, so I think they'd be perhaps just a touch older, 25 to 50 males, B to C2, obviously aspirers. Our secondary demographic are going to be, again, those original fans of the franchise, so 40 to 60, A to C1, who are potentially already succeeders. In terms of representation, the website features a very minimal house style, so as we've said, that monochromatic black and white, providing that sophisticated tone to the website. So not only does this make the colours stand out and are more visually engaging, but it also represents the character of Bond as a whole because he is very sophisticated and well put together as well. And finally then a look at those other pages. So the home page is basically made up of news. This provides a base for the audience because this is the first thing that they see, and it instantly updates them on the latest news related to Bond. It helps to inform the audience, but it also creates a lot of hype about any new details. So whether that's the new film that's coming out or coming up, I would imagine, details of who the next Bond is going to be, because if you weren't aware, this latest film that's coming out, No Time to Die, is Daniel Craig's last performance as Bond, so that'll provide sort of more information as and when we find out who the next Bond is. The No Time to Die link is basically the latest film in the franchise. Now, obviously, it would make most sense for the latest film to have its own page or at least its own website, because this increases suspense as you're teasing audiences prior to the release. But it also helps to increase revenue at the box office because it can create this hype, it can provide information, it perhaps has the trailers on there when they're released. So it keeps the momentum for the film going prior to its release and then afterwards as well. So this can create a massive social talking point for the company as a whole. The Bonds are the first indication that there is some sort of like contemporariness to the website, because this allows the audience to have a look back at the different actors who have played Bond. So obviously audiences of various ages are going to find this interesting and engaging, and it would also help to inform any newcomers to the franchise as well. Our Bond exhibitions are quite interesting. So basically the website sort of self-promotes these exhibitions that are taking place in real life. These are targeted at different subgroups within the audience. So if you hovered your mouse over that part of the sort of banner where those different tabs are, you would see that, you know, there's 3 different exhibitions. One of them I think is based on the cars and the wealth and that sort of thing. So it's obviously going to appeal to different subgroups within the audience depending on what the topic of the exhibition is. And it also allows then audience to gain even more exclusive content, because obviously the information about the cars, yeah, you can read about them online, but seeing them up close is a completely different thing. And then we've got the store. So the store is a form of self-promotion again, because the audiences who purchase from the website are buying a branded item. If they then wear that branded item out and about, then it's obviously promoting the franchise as a whole. So not only does it increase revenue and self-promote, but it also acts as this convergence for the company. It's a different platform for them, but potentially there's going to be synergy with other existing companies. I know that when my media groups have had a look at the different synergy that's out there, things like Omega watches, that sort of thing, but Bond has partnered with them prior. So our key terms then, we've got quite a few key terms, more than I thought there would be. If you're new to the YouTube, then basically what I do is list all these key terms so that you guys can find the definitions for them. If you're not sure what they already are, you can go through your own work and highlight and see how many of them you're using in your answers. I know this is mock season for a lot of you, and I know that my Year 11 sat their first mock today, so potentially if you've got a mock coming up, you want to have a look at some of these key terms so that you can try and fit them into your answers. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the button down below. Every time you subscribe, you get a shout out. If you haven't had a shout out yet and you need one because you know that you are subscribed, then just pop me a message in the comments section below. You can also pop me comments about things that you would like to see. I do have a list of things that I need to cover. So if you're one of the people studying Luther, for example, that will be coming up once I've finished the Bond unit. You can ask me questions or just, say hi in the comments. If you haven't already as well, you can follow me on Twitter at media_revision. I do have an Instagram, which is at GCSE Media Revision. The Instagram hasn't really taken off, but I'm going to keep it going just so I can post anything interesting I find, mainly images and things up on there. But if you want to get in touch, ask me questions, then it's here or it's Twitter. And as I said at the beginning, I'm not sure when I'm going to next post a video, but hopefully I am back. So I will see you guys soon for the next video.